Lord, whenever the governor's prime responsibility is that a stable government continues, number one. Kindly allow me to complete. Number two, the democratically elected leader should not only enjoy the confidence of the House when the government is formed, he should continue to enjoy the confidence of the House throughout the tenure. And that's going to be my another limb of submission when I examine, Lord, the governor's power in facts of the case is concerned. Otherwise, there would not be any accountability on the leader so far as his constituent electorate is concerned. He can say that now I am elected to hell with you. I will not concern. I am not concerned. Allow me to.
Mr. Solicitor, the monsoon session was coming. This was all happening in the third week of June, the last week of June.
Can I complete?
The monsoon session of the State Legislative Assembly was going to take place when you will place supplementary demands. That's the surest test. If they have to seek the vote of the House on passing legislation, on supplementary demands, one aspect of a revenue measure, and if the government does not get a vote, they're out.
Well, I will show the judgments. Well, the judgments
of the monsoon session which was going to take place.
Well, I'll have to, my lord, read some judgments also, my lord, and therefore I would earnestly request your lordships to defer this tentative conclusion.
This is not a conclusion at all. This is a concern which we are
another thing.
We may eventually accept your submission and we will equally put your argument to Mr. Sibal.
No, I understand. I'm fully conscious. I'm confident in
polity. What is happening is
my worry is difficult. My worry is different.
Ultimately, whoever fails, whoever succeeds is a separate issue. But
my worry is different. My worry is different. And I'll put it first. Thereafter, I'll answer that question at the outset and elaborate. But what was said was not just an inappropriate statement which the governor could have ignored. It was a threat that you will be brought dead and sent to postmortem. That the house is being... Please don't condone it. Inadvertent.
He wrote to Mr. Limay, he was the additional chief secretary, provide security. He did his duty by providing that. That please provide protection. Your duty
permit me, Malad, to... Anyway.
But bringing down government because of some member of the Legislative Assembly saying that, we will,
sorry, my lord, that's too simplistic a way to look at it. Lord, please look at it holistically. 34 MLAs goes that we have lost confidence. They might be disqualified, they may not be disqualified. Whatever is the consequence, forget it for the time being. Along with 2 plus 7 other MLAs that this man is not enjoying majority support. Kindly, my lord, allow me to complete. My lord, before your lordship, my lord, expresses the concern. They are not saying that we don't like him or we don't like that, ABCD reasons, and therefore he has lost our confidence. Now, my lord, all these allegations, all these threats are being administered, and the governor is supposed to be not a mute spectator because the threats are administered not as a law and order situation. The threats are administered and governor is informed that with a view to create an artificial majority, now not only threats are administered on public platforms, but really attacks are taking place. Lord, would I expect the governor to sit as a mute spectator and say that you wait till your monsoon session, this is your internal dispute, you sort it out internally. The minimum thing, my lord, the Supreme Court has said is that the governor is not only entitled, he is duty bound to hold to direct that if this is the situation, you hold a full floor test. If that, my lord, according to their perception, might aggravate the situation for the chief minister, my lord, again that consequence is not for the governor to keep in mind. If in a democratically elected body like a legislative assembly, if I am elected as a leader, I should not only inspire confidence at the outset, I should continue to have that confidence throughout my tenure. Otherwise, it results into complete lack of accountability and answerability, which is a facet of democracy, and it would result in complete tyranny. That now I am elected, you can do nothing to me. Look, that is not what is conceived of the governor's function, because governor comes into picture only in rare situations like this, that for whatever reasons you have lost your confidence. if 34 people have come, maybe because of my floor test, 34 may become 40. I'm taking the extreme example. As your lordships have very rightly expressed the concern, that it might aggravate the situation, but that's how the democracy works. That's how, my lord, leadership works. And therefore, my lord, they say that you can inherit leadership. You cannot inherit leadership qualities. And that is where the leadership quality comes into play in a democracy.
The concern, Mr. Mehta, is that what happens is people start ditching a government. And, you ditch your government, and then for a variety of reasons, the governments and the governors are willing allies by saying hold a trust vote. So you give sanctity to this. I
am not entering into the area whether they should have or they should not have. That's for them to answer.
This is a very sad spectacle, in our democracy that, you allow...
Lord, I don't... As a governor, I can't answer that question. But otherwise, my lord, if your lordship...
This is irrespective of the morality of the Shiv Sena having joined with the INC and the...
That was also, my lord, the majority feels was a sad spectacle. My lord, ultimately, all these resolutions say that having gone before the electorate, and my lord, I would like to read. My lord, kindly allow me, my lord. Okay, Lord, I am kindly allow me. In Quixote, your lordships very carefully said that when you go before the electorate, you are not going as an individual. You are going as a representative of a particular ideology. You are doing two things. A, I am representing a particular ideology, vote for me. He represents another ideology, don't vote for me. Now the situation before your lordships and before the governor was that majority of me who went with a particular ideology, particular coalition, particular, my lord, joint, my lord, program, sit with him against whom we contested the election, and majority say that this is a spectacle we would not like to be a part of. I'm not concerned as a governor. I'm not concerned as a governor. So that's, my lord.
But they broke bread for 3 years, no?
Exactly.
They broke bread with the Indian National Congress and the NCP for 3 years. What happened overnight after 3 years of, happy marriage?
My lord, please see, my lord, then I'll read, my lord, what is their reason, because it's not my function to answer that. That's a political debate.
Governor has to ask himself this question.
On lighter side, you can very well say, staying together for 3 years cannot be said to be a happy life by that.
The governor has to ask himself this question. What were you fellows doing for 3 years?
Lord, governor
you're not in 1 month after the election has taken place.
Lord, kindly come to
1 month after the election takes place.
Lord,
the chief minister suddenly breaks up with the bypasses the BJP and joins with the INC. And governor can say, sorry, there's a serious discontent in the party.
Lord,
3 years you cohabit, and then suddenly one fine day, a group of 34 say that there is discontent.
Kindly allow me to place.
They all went and became ministers.
Lord, the difficulty is, my lord,
enjoying the spoils of office, and then suddenly, one day you just
wake up to the fact that
I leave it to your lordship. Well, that's a political debate, but I have an answer. If your lordship allows me, I'll answer.
You can go to the law council.
Yeah, now tell us, show us the law now.
I will.
You take it to the law first, then
let me answer.
By the letter. Please do one thing. You can show the law, correct? Power of the governor, what can be weighed with the government, and thereafter you take it to take us to the letter, that whether it fits in that law or not.
My lord, kindly, my lord, note here at this page 14 is the answer. I'll come to it later. Page 14, why these 3 years of cohabitation, my lord, and why thereafter, my lord, a divorce. I'll answer, but they have answered to me. They have shown it to me. Me means the governor. The governor is given why we have been together, and now why it's now or never situation, my lord. That I'll kindly, my lord, allow me to place it at page 14, my lord. Now, your lordships, my lord, kindly take these propositions, my lord, and that would, my lord, perhaps answer your lordship's questions. Because otherwise, my lord, I may not be able to fulfill my promise of, my lord, concluding in.
No, you're right, absolutely. I took some time out on asking.
No.
You're right, absolutely. Sometimes,
just not on a lighter side. When the court is quiet, my lord, as I said, the arguments are longer. And my lord, just since everything is, my lord, now very, very serious, and I want to start the new point not on that serious note, kindly allow me to use, my lord, one, my lord, kindly, before your lordship takes the proposition. Before your lordship takes the proposition, my lord, on a little light note, I'll start. But there is a Urdu couplet, Mr. Sibal is fond of, my lord, both of us share that. There is a very good Urdu couplet on the situation which is arising. मैं चुप रहा तो और गलत फहमियां बढ़ी. This for the court. When the court is quiet, then we don't understand what is passing in the court's mind. मैं चुप रहा तो और गलत फहमियां बढ़ी. वो भी सुना है उसने जो मैंने कहा नहीं. So this is
उसने जो मैंने कहा नहीं.
वो भी सुना है उसने जो मैंने कहा नहीं. मैं चुप रहा था. So when your lordships are quiet, we understand that there are 10 points.
Mehta, पर वो भी सुना जो मैंने कहा नहीं. What we in legal parlance call reading between the lines.
But those who write shares, they don't write for legal documentation. They write for some particular person. They write for one individual. That one individual is relevant for them, those who write.
By the way, who is the author of the couplet, Iqbal, or who is it?
No, this is Wasim Barelvi.
Oh, very fine.
Very fine. One of the top ranking alive poet who is alive. Contemporary Urdu.
By the way, Mr. Sibal, I don't know if Mr. Tushar Mehta, whether you've read this book called Dilli O Dilli, which is written by one of our lawyers of the Supreme Court Bar. It's a beautiful book on a variety of Urdu poets.
Yes, but Delhi had that tradition, now it's dying. Unfortunately, the best tradition was in Lucknow. Lucknow also, I asked people that there's a dying tradition. In Allahabad also, Firaq Gorakhpuri and all, my lord, now that tradition is fading away. I'll not say dying, but it's fading away, my lord. It's not. But there are young, my lord, writers.
It's an issue of language, my lord. Actually, language is taken over. And Urdu is a dying language as of today. That's the reality. And therefore we are losing a lot of that culture. That's what it is.
Yes.
You'd like to go through your propositions?
Yes, my lord. Kindly, my lord, come
go through your propositions, so then we are done. We just then look at the judgments.
Para 4, my lord. Para 4. Lord, page 1, para 1, my lord. In a parliamentary democracy, the cabinet and the chief minister must enjoy and must continue to enjoy the majority support of the house at any given point of time. It is the constitutional obligation of the governor to ensure that government is stable and the government as well as chief minister enjoys majority support in the house. The argument, my lord, third, right now your lordships may ignore, I'll come to it a little later. 4. The question as to whether the government or chief minister has lost confidence or support of the house is not to be decided by the governor and shall have to be decided on the floor of the house. The governor, based upon the material from wherever derived, well, this expression I have borrowed from Bomai, from wherever derived, because this was an expression used by the committee of governors appointed in 70s and Bomai has approved that report, my lord, can only arrive at a conclusion that prima facie the cabinet or the chief minister has lost confidence, support of the house, which requires to be tested on the floor of the house. His satisfaction is limited only to the requirement of floor test and not whether A enjoys majority or B enjoys majority. Now, my lord, your lordship's very pertinent question was that if, I'm sorry, my lord, your lordship, sorry, that merely because there is some internal dissatisfaction amongst the party, can the governor take this call or not? Lord, a similar question arose, my lord, in case of Rameshwar Prasad, where the question was that you're permitting somebody to request you to hold a floor test would violate 10th schedule. Because what these people, this group who is expressing no confidence against the chief minister, stand disqualified or will stand disqualified under the 10th schedule. And the question before the court was whether the governor, while taking a decision under say Article 174 and 175, is concerned what will be the effect of their act ultimately in the 10th schedule. I hope I'm able to make myself clear. While taking the decision, I am supposed to be cognizant that what they are doing might be a reason for 10 schedule punishment, a consequence subsequently. Your lordships, my lord, through a constitution bench says no. That governor is agnostic to 10 schedule. He has to be satisfied that the confidence is lost prima facie. It needs to be tested on the floor. They may suffer consequence, they may not suffer consequence. That's not the governor for the governor to see. That's what your lordships have said.